soyez prêts pour Aaron Chupa et Albatraoz. C'est parti.
I'm frightened.
Oh, most people are. You should be.
What in the good hell was it?
Oh, it's a really good song. So, like... So it's, I don't know. It's like
It's
like
starting to get upbeat.
It does. It gets like upbeat. It's like a super cool techno-y song. Super hot chick, really. That's why I care. But
Okay,
yeah,
that's fair. That's why I bought
She's
wine
hot.
the other day.
That's why you bought wine.
Different story. Hey guys, it's the PONKast.
What a
episode
start!
It's episode 3. I'm Ponke, and I've got renowned engineer and guy I broke his nose, Trevor Hurley.
Yeah, I shouldn't be an engineer.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Not.
No, I see. I'm a very injury-prone person, and I think just about every major injury I've had has been Ponke's fault. Like every one of them.
Hey, we had fun.
Yeah, we had fun until you broke my nose
And back.
and back and shoulders and.
The nose one was hilarious. The way you told me at B-Dubs was my favorite.
Oh, do you
Just
want?
like, you're like, I went to the doctor recently. And I literally, like, I was trying not to die when I saw you today. Because when you talk, you have to breathe in through your nose way harder than a normal person.
Yeah.
And you had for, like, a long time, but I never thought anything of it.
I had a whistle. It was like every time I would breathe in, it would be like. Like.
And then
Anything.
you tell me that finally you go to the doctor about it, and he's like, yeah, you have a deviated septum. And I was like, I don't know where you're going with this. He's like, yeah. You're like, I didn't know where he was going either. And then he said, did you ever get an impact to the nose? And you went, no, I don't think. Oh, shit.
So
Yeah.
it turns out I had a deviated septum and some breathing issues for years. I actually had to have 2 surgeries on my nose.
Okay.
Me and Ponke did all kinds of stupid fun shit, and one day we decided boxing sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
So we ended up just getting some cheap-ass boxing gloves. We took off our shirts and boxed in the front yard with some kind of, like, point-and-shoot camera.
That your sister was shooting?
My sister was shooting.
Oh, God.
It was crazy too because I remember it so well. He just clocked me with a right, just right in the nose, and I went oh, and he goes, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm okay. Let's keep going." And then the next shot, I just went, pew, uppercut, like cracked his rib. Might as well have cracked his rib.
Yeah.
Dropped to the ground. I wonder if I still have that tape anywhere.
I know, I was wondering, like, because that was an old video camera then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that day too. Your dad was like, "You're not allowed to do it unless you buy headgear," and I was like, "No, we can't afford it.
No, Dad, I don't need headgear.
We can't afford the headgear. We're just gonna do this." It
Yep, broken nose too.
was like 2 minutes of boxing, and we're both fucked up.
I know. It was like after the first 30 seconds, we're like, "Oh my God, are we done yet? How long have we been doing this?" It was bad. God, I was out of shape. I'm even more out of shape now, but
Well, that's because we broke your back with football, and football.
there was hockey too. We did do hockey. I did terribly at hockey.
Forgot your wipeout.
Oh God, which one? That's the better
There's
question.
one in particular where I remember looking over, and like both your skates went forward when the guy kind of charged you, and like you hit on your tailbone, and I saw your whole spine like accordion, like a cartoon. And I was like, "Oh, he's not walking away." We were just like, you just kind of like clenched your butt cheeks and kept going.
Yep.
You're a trooper.
That's how it all went, man. It was just like every sport I've ever played with Ponke was far superior. So it was kind of frustrating, but I mean, it was fun. We dicked around. We had fun. I got hurt. He had fun. I got hurt.
Hey, I had fun watching you get hurt.
Yeah, it's great.
It was funny because like you would make some amazing catches, but only if it really messed up your body. Like,
Oh, I know.
one-handed catch, but also he like Cordova'd in a pretzel.
Oh my god, the best story ever. Me and Ponke were playing football in the middle of the winter, right? We're just like, well, hey, there's 8 inches of snow on the ground, but how about we go play football? That sounds like a great idea.
It's honestly probably the best thing for your back because there's some padding.
Right, so we decided to do that, and we went around to this park around my back, around the block from where I live, and we're like, all right, let's play football in the snow. And my sister calls me. And I start talking to my little sister on the phone, and we keep playing. And Ponke made this, like, bombed this throw, and I went up for this thing. Like, I dove, like, flew maybe 3 yards in a certain direction, and ended up catching the ball, like, one-handed. Just some crazy, stupid catch. And then I was like, yes! And then I was like, where's my phone? So,
Oh my god.
so like it wasn't until after I made the catch and I was like, oh my god, my phone's gone. Well, we could hear my sister very slightly on the other end of the phone. So we couldn't find it. They're nowhere to be found, but we could hear my sister slightly. So me and Ponke looked like a couple of retards for the next 30, probably 5 minutes.
Probably.
I had my sister was still on the other line, and me and Ponke are just yelling. It looks like we're just yelling at the snow, like, hello! Like, we're trying to get her to talk so we can track the phone.
That was the best. Yeah, we hear like a muffled voice and we're like, wait. And it's silence and we're just like, Marco!
we just looked like 2 retarded idiots just yelling at the snow.
Oh yeah, whoever's houses were around there just saw us like, like just jumping around, staring at the snow.
Hey man, that's what
Hey,
we
you found
did.
it though. You found it.
Yeah, we found it.
You know what worked was the Marco Polo, because she started saying polo.
Marco!
All right, we're warmer. Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, we had a terrible tracking system. Worked though.
Yeah, no, you got your phone back. I can't believe it wasn't more damaged.
No, well, it wasn't damaged at all.
Did you have one of those like fancy cases?
No, I had I think it was the S3 at the time.
Throwback.
Yeah, no kidding. You know what's funny is I've never actually broken a phone.
Me either.
I don't know. Great segue, right? No, I've never. Well, there's actually a fun story. I had way back in the day, I had an iPhone 3GS, right? It was all new. I mean, well, it was kind of new. I think they just came out with the 4, but my sister was like, hey, you can have my old phone. And
Nice.
of course, I was like one of the first smartphones at the time, so I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I got like a really fancy leather case in it, and I put my ID in the case with my phone. And me and my family were on vacation at the time, and we decided, we went to Michigan Adventure, I think it was. Either Michigan Adventure or Cedar Point. Well, what ended up happening was we were on the roller coaster, and I had loose pockets. And my phone, at some point at the top of the roller coaster, flew out of my pockets. And we couldn't find it. Like, we could not find it. And we get a call. I was so pissed, right? Couldn't find my phone. I was like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. We get a call, like, on our way home from vacation. This lady was like, hey, so I just want to let you know, I found your phone. It's totally okay. I got your ID, too. I'm just going to mail it to you. And we're like, okay, cool. Yeah, so some random lady found my phone that flew off of a roller coaster. No damage.
Wow.
Yeah, no. And she just mailed it back.
Remind me to get leather cases.
Well, you know what? I got the ID back, and I got the phone back, but my case was gone.
Well, maybe the case busted, but that's what saved the phone.
The leather case just disintegrated.
Yeah, just
like,
poof, but your phone's okay.
But hey, how about it?
It's kind of like how helmets are designed to actually break to give so that you don't.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, just let's completely destroy matter. Like, we at Apple have decided to come up with a phone case that destroys matter as we know it.
Yeah, that sounded more like Dyson. German engineering.
German engineering.
Not nearly as exciting. I had my phone fall out of the salt and pepper shaker. The one where it's like the cages that spin, and then also that's on like a belt that spins.
Oh, I love that.
Same thing. It was the NV2, the little
The
flip side.
NV2, yeah.
Oh, best phones ever. And also loose pockets, idiot. But we checked, because I thought about it before the ride started, like, wait, loose pockets, let's make sure, like, with the cage, we tested, like, all these holes that it would not fit. Tested every, like, cage hole. And then we got to, like, the highest peak point, and we're spinning, and I see it just go, not even, like, rattle, just, like, straight through one of those holes at the right angle, and just down into, like, St. Lawrence.
Yeah, destroyed that one, huh?
No, it took the shot, and the outside wouldn't work, so to answer calls, I'd have to flip it open and close it. Couldn't use anything on the outside, but it worked for years.
You had that forever because you couldn't hang up the phone.
Yes.
You'd always sit on the other end of the phone until I hung up the phone.
That phone.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I couldn't hang up. I couldn't hang up on anybody.
He'd be like, okay, you can hang up now. I'll be like, you hang up. Well, I can't.
Yeah, people took advantage of that.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
All right, I gotta hear your strip club story.
Pause. What is the beer rules? Like, can I totally get up now?
I'll grab it. It's a fun part of it. This is where I say the podcast is brought to you by grabbing another beer. And then Trevor starts talking about his story.
Okay, so, strip club story.
You're not supposed to have that.
Clean! Anyway, I was telling Ponke, I didn't even tell him, actually. Me, a good friend of mine, and a really gumpy friend, we ended up deciding, like, hey, thank you, sir. Let's go to the strip club. They bugged me forever and ever to go to the strip club with them. I finally caved.
Bless you.
Burp. Wow, I get the feeling this story is going to be far less entertaining than I hoped. No, but it was super good. There was this guy we met there, some bald guy, Brian, and we started talking. Like, all the stripper ladies, like, came up to us and, like, just talked with us. Like, it was super cool. Like, they no lap dances, they just sat down and wasted a night just sitting and talking to us. And we ended up sitting with this guy Brian, some big ass fat bald dude, super cool though. And we got to talking, and this guy was so cool. He was from like Minnesota or something, and he was on vacation. He ended up telling me, he was like, yeah, so what do you do? And I was like, well, you know, I do engineering. He goes, oh, no kidding. I said, yeah, what do you do? He goes, I'm a security guard. And I said, oh, okay, that's cool. And he goes, yeah, let's see. Have you ever heard of a band called Nirvana?
Whoa.
And I was like,
no.
he was like, no, never heard of them. And he goes, well, that was actually before I was doing security. He goes, I used to get on stage with them and like, he's like, I just used to unpack all their shit for them, like just unpack all the instruments, or I'd help unpack and whatever. And he showed me a bunch of pictures of him with Nirvana because he'd help them set up, and then he'd hang out with them in like their RV or whatever. Oh, shit. And I was like, oh, no way, that's cool. And he started showing me just like a bunch of pictures of people he was like security guard for. And the one that got me, I don't know why this got me. He goes, I was like, okay, what was like the it seems you've done some cool stuff. Like, what's the best security gig you've had? He goes, oh, the best one? And I was like, yeah. He goes, have you ever heard of Ron Jeremy?
No way.
Yeah, no, he was telling me, he was showing me pictures of him and Ron Jeremy and just a bunch of weird pictures, but he was like, it got like, he's like, Ron Jeremy, first of all, just spent money like it was nothing. Like, he just spent money. Yeah. And every time he got a hotel, Brian would check in with him. He'd stay in like the same room, or he'd buy 2 rooms. I think he said he'd buy 2 rooms, one for him and whatever. Yeah. He goes, yeah, it got really crazy. Like, we used to I'd do security, and there'd be a bunch of women, and at some point, the women just started sniffing coke off each other's ass. And he's like,
yeah, it's Ron Jeremy.
yeah, no, it's Ron Jeremy, but I don't know, man. It was just super cool. He started showing me all these pictures of him with all these famous people he security guarded for, and he actually, so he won a raffle. Right, and I was buying him drinks throughout the night just because we were chilling, talking, and he won a raffle, and you'd get a raffle ticket for every beer that you bought.
Okay.
He ended up winning, and he goes, "Yeah, I kind of like you." And I was like, "Yeah, thanks, man." And he goes, "Yeah, no." He's like, "I appreciate you buying me drinks." He goes, "Do you want the shirt?" And I was like, "Sure." So this guy gave me the shirt that he won in this raffle. And then I was talking with one of the strip club girls. She was sitting talking with us, and we started all talking. And she goes, "Do you want a T-shirt?" And I was like, "Well, I already got one." And she goes, "Okay. Do you want another?" And I was like, "Sure." So I come home from the strip club like it's a souvenir shop, just packing a bunch of shit. And, like, it was weird because, like, the whole night, the strippers just kept handing me stuff. Like, they'd be like, "Hey, here's a T-shirt. Oh, hey, here's another T-shirt. Hey, here's a porno mag. Hey, here's a bottle opener that lights up." And it was so stupid that night, but it was fun. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you know what? That was probably, not a story worth mentioning, but
I liked it.
I did too. I thought it was awesome.
I wish I met that guy. That guy was awesome.
Yeah, he was super cool. He was like, "Yeah, man, just take this stuff." He's like, but he came too, and he was like, "This is my first time I've ever been to Michigan," and I was like, "Okay, no kidding." And he goes, "I love Michigan. The people here are so nice." And I was like,
"Oh, you poor thing."
right. I was like, how bad is Minnesota? Like, granted, they have the Vikings. I mean, that's bad enough. But how bad is Minnesota?
It's bad, man.
He's like, "God, I've never met nicer people than Michiganders." I was like,
I've never heard that phrase.
I know.
But if you come from Minnesota, it's just the statement, "I've never met people."
Right.
It's cool running into, like, fun people like that.
Right.
I only run into people that have no point. Like,
right.
did I tell you about the time I went to Beat-Ups? And it was one night. And I would get there and, like, way early for fights because Ben was working and I'm not missing these. So I'm just at the bar. I mind my own business. I'm at the end, like, whatever, because I know I'm going to be there a while. I leave enough chairs for everybody. First woman I sit next to, she's probably like 35, 40. She's got her husband with her.
Okay.
All she sees is, like, the early fights I get on my phone. Mm-hmm. And all she sees is that it's women fighting. And she starts talking about Ronda Rousey for, like, 25 minutes. But has no idea. Honestly, I don't think she knew who Ronda Rousey was. I think she just heard the name.
Okay, that's fair.
Nothing she said made sense. And, like, I tried to keep the conversation kind of going, but I never got a word in with her, so I just kind of let her go watch the fight. Like, "Oh yeah. I try and, like, keep the conversation, like, keep in it, and she'd be like, yeah, no. So finally they leave, and she totally ignored her husband. Like, when she saw that, I just started talking about Rousey.
Right.
I was like, nah, she's just drunk. So our barkeeper comes up. She's like, "Did you know her? Was she, like, your aunt or something?" I was like, "Never met her." She's like, "I just wondered because she was talking to you, like, a lot." And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't want that." It's about 20 minutes later, this guy comes in, and he asked for the Indians game on. He's got a Cleveland hat on. We had just got back from the UFC 203 in Cleveland, where, like, the guy from Cleveland defended the heavyweight championship with a knockout. It was crazy.
Okay, yeah.
And Cleveland was awesome to us, so I was like, all I said, "You from Cleveland?" Jesus Christ. 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours from that?
2.5 hours, Trevor, and I never spoke again. I never said a word again.
You been to Cleveland?
Been to Cleveland, moves 2 seats over, shows me pictures of his house, his family, his previous house, his yard, how he cuts it, like, everything. And,
no kidding.
Just 2.5 hours. But then he was like, he bought me, like, a medium-sized honey barbecue wing and a beer. And I was like,
Okay.
I'll listen. Let's keep going. And then finally, he buys me food and a beer and tells me his life story over 2.5 hours and leaves. And Kara comes up. You had to know him, right? No idea. I said one thing to him. She's like, oh my God. Yeah.
I think, you know what? I think you actually told me that. Yeah, you did. You told me that because we went to B-Dubs, and I think you probably had the same waitress because we devised a plan because I was sitting with him and talking with him the whole time, and we were just waiting for her to say something like, did you know him? It was just like, nope, never met him.
That's funny. Yeah, I probably go there too much. That's why she talks to us.
Yeah.
She's very nice. I gotta go back there.
She seemed like
we told her about Dallas. We went to UFC in Dallas, and we told her like 2 weeks before, and we stopped there for like a couple drinks before, like the night we were going to the airport because it was like a 3 a.m. flight, and we came back like it had been 3 weeks since before we got back to that B-Dubs. And she, like, straight up was, how is Dallas? And we're like, ah.
You met one of the fighters there, didn't you? Was that in Dallas?
That was actually Cleveland. No. Wait.
No, I think it was Dallas.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, okay. So Dallas was also the heavyweight championship. So, yeah, the guy from Cleveland was defending the belt there.
Okay.
And he got a first-round knockout in Dallas. That's right. So it's really hard to meet people like right after an event because Twitter blows up because everybody's trying to meet them and it's really hard to whatever. So we're just at a tequila bar in the airport at like 5 p.m. in Dallas waiting for our flight in like 3 hours. We're at this tequila bar. We just look across and the heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic is across the bar from us.
How cool is that?
Me and Ben were like, fuck. We gotta do something, right? So we go up there. There's like one other person in the entire airport that recognized him, and we're all in UFC gear and everything. So he's like, he's got like friends and family with him, I assume, and they're all like pissed that people are even talking to him. So we were like, he's like, come here. Took a picture with us. He was super awesome, and we posted it on my other podcast, On the Buttons, Twitter. And he we straight saw him look at his phone, look up, and retweet it, and look at us, and we were like, oh, and we got like 130 likes, and it was, he was a super good dude.
130, that's like, that's a big deal to you.
That's a big deal for somebody that has 60 followers, at the time, probably 35 followers, like, we just started.
Like, I totally love the plug there, too, you're like, and we retweeted our other... Check out our podcast On the Button. It was retweeted by so-and-so, but it was super cool because he retweeted it. Like,
I'm not plugging anything, but we are on iTunes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, you gotta plug when you can. So, what else is new? Trevor Hurley?
Oh, boy. Let's see. What else is new?
I feel like a lot of stuff happened since the last podcast I did.
Okay.
It was Monday before the Lions won the Monday night game against New York. So we were just 1-0, and we're like, fluke win.
Yeah.
And now we're 3-1, and almost went 4-0, and we're favored against Carolina.
Well, see, here's the thing, right? Well, you know what? I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've not been as much into sports this season as I would have liked to, but here's the thing, right? I did watch that Lions game that we lost to. That
would have been Atlanta.
It was Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Like, well, first of all, Lions and Patriots. Those are my teams. I love the Lions and I love the Patriots.
That's fair.
And the Patriots aren't. They're doing okay. I think that last play was kind of bullshit, right? Now listen, I understand, right, like, I get the whole 10-second rundown rule, right? So there's an injury in the last, I think the rule goes throughout the whole game. But if there's an injury, there's a 10-second rundown on the clock. I get it, that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like an exception to taking a timeout, right?
It was like going back to the playoffs when New York, there's that little short video of two different defensive like secondaries dropping at the same time, faking an injury, and looking at each other and going, "Crap,
crap." Right. Well, see, listen, I get that, right? But there was like 8 seconds left on the clock, and Stafford threw to Golden Tate, and it was ruled a touchdown. It was ruled a touchdown by the officials.
Yes.
Right. So it was 3rd and 1 or something like that. So they could have still had a shot. Granted, we were out of timeouts, and they would have had to rush the play.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. If the officials call the play dead and they rule it a touchdown, it is not our team's responsibility to. How do I say this? I don't think the rundown should be called if it is an official decision.
Well, and I'm pretty sure, and can't quote me on this because I just listened to other people, and it seems like the majority of people have said, and you can't trust anybody, but that 10-second rule also applies to that situation, not just injuries, but when there is a scoring review, it's also a 10-second runoff.
Yeah, but see, if it's my view is just if it's an official review, then it's
the rule's there probably because of the gray area.
Yeah,
and what people are mad at is if that's the rule, and it's that 10-second runoff, but then the clock stopped, you get to set up your play. Mm-hmm. And it happened at 11 seconds. So we would have had 1 second. We would have had another play.
Yeah.
So that's where everyone was pissed because they called the game without really looking back and going, wait, they might have had a second or two left. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, we don't need 10 fourth-quarter comebacks.
No, we don't. But, I mean, it would have been great. Now, here's the thing, too. That ref had so much balls. How do you call back a game-winning play at an at-home field? The Lions were at home. The Lions won the game off of this touchdown. And he said, after further review, the player was down by contact. Because there's only 8 seconds left in the game is over. Lions lose. How much balls do you have to say that?
In Detroit.
In Detroit! Right.
I mean, according to your Minnesota dude, we're all sweethearts.
We're all sweethearts. But listen, if it was me, if I'm being completely honest, even if I'm not a Lions fan, if I'm just an NFL ref and I don't give a fuck who wins, I'm like, well, I'm not calling that back. Like who's getting the shorter straw here? Whoever draws shortest straw has to call this back.
You should have called it and then just flail run out of the stadium.
Right.
Just sprint.
Yeah, that ref's dead now. I don't know if you knew that.
What? Yeah, he never got out of Detroit. I had a feeling, but...
No, he's not dead, but it's believable.
People are like, whoa.
It's believable.
Looking that stuff up.
Oh, you gotta have so much balls.
Yeah, no, I mean... At the end of the day, we're doing way better than everybody expected, and right now in Vegas, we're favored against Carolina.
Which is stupid.
If you said at the beginning of the year, people would be like, you're dumb.
Well, see, the crazy thing is, we're like the second best team in the league right now or something like that?
Problem, last game, Abdullah got messed up again.
Yes.
But
I mean...
It's not like we were using him. We were literally like, hey, look, we have a run game. We're not going to use it, but it's there.
It's there, and now it's not even there.
Yeah. Same thing. All right, let's just play. We pass a lot.
It was funny. Last night, actually, my buddy invited me over, and again, I'm a big Patriots fan. I was New England born, so it's like, it
fair.
Well, it helps that the Patriots are up to this point a great team. I mean, they're still a great team.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, it was always great because it'd be like, the Lions fucking suck this year. Go Patriots! And it was great. It was great to have that team. But my buddy invited me over yesterday, and it was so goofy because he does the fantasy football shit, right?
Yeah.
And he had like one of the Patriots running back. And two of the
who were they playing?
The Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he had two of the Buccaneers receivers. And it was such a hard thing for me because, for some stupid reason, I root for my buddies for, even if it's a stupid thing, it could be the dumbest thing. Like, hey, do you want to watch me eat gum off the pavement? I'll be like, yeah, buddy, you got it. Or he'll be like, hey, I'm rooting for the unicorns. How do you feel about that? I'd be like, oh, unicorns!
Unicorns.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Oh, you didn't actually think of it?
No.
There is actually the unicorn.
Yeah, the unicorn.
That's awesome.
I'm drunk.
Yeah, good.
Salivating when I talk.
That's hot.
No, but it was so back and forth for me because I mean, granted, I was drunk yesterday too. Yes, I am an alcoholic. Yes, I do need rehab.
Nah, you're just one of our generation.
I know.
See, we're not alcoholics. We just realized that, like, we're fucked.
We're fucked.
Social Security's gone. Everything we were promised is a lie.
Everything.
So we drink. Cheers. But anyway,
No. I mean, but it was so weird back and forth for me because I was rooting for my buddy for his players to get these points, and I was like, oh shit, I want the Patriots to win. But I'm like, on his behalf, I'm like, you know what? Go Buccaneers receivers. And I was like, oh, wait, fuck, what am I doing? It was so back and forth for me. I was like, who do I want to win this? I was like, we came up with a compromise. He was like, well, how about this? There's like 2 minutes left in the game. How about we bomb it, get 7 points, my receiver gets the points, and then New England runs it back on a kickoff return, and the Patriots win. My receiver gets points, the Patriots win. How about that? I was like, that sounds fucking great. I mean, Patriots won anyway. Not exactly in that fashion, but it was a win-win for everybody. I mean,
I am in fantasy football, and I had a Bucks receiver and their tight end. They both did great.
Yeah. Who did you have?
So it was Deshaun Jackson.
Okay.
I'm sure if they had 2 receivers from the Bucks, that was one of them.
No, I don't think it was. He had Cameron Brandt and
that's the tight end. So I had him.
Okay. Yeah.
And I honestly probably don't know the other ones.
I don't even know.
The Bucks aren't that deep.
But he did have the Patriots running back.
Who is that now?
Well, they have White.
There's White. Yeah.
They have oh God, diehard Patriots fan.
Because I keep thinking,
players.
my mind's stuck on Blunt, but he went to Philadelphia.
No, it's.
This is my favorite part of the podcast because I make people not allowed to use their phones. Like,
no, God,
where is Google?
Where's Google?
Just be like, hey Siri.
I couldn't even think, but Abdullah played a fantastic game for one. Amendola. Yeah, Abdullah did great. The Lions win. Yeah.
They jinxed Abdullah. Did you notice that? Before the game started, they made a point in the pregame of the Lions game to point out that it had been like 30 years since anybody hit 100 yards rushing in the Lions. Maybe not 30 years, but a really long time.
Right.
And he got to like 92 yards by like the third quarter. And they're like, I think we jinxed it. He might break it. And then he like...
Injury.
He's out.
Dead. No, he broke his neck.
And will never beat the record. Oh, noise.
Sorry, that was a noise.
Speaking of that sound, I'm going to an awesome concert tomorrow.
That was a wonderful sound. What concert are you going to?
The Self-Help Fest. It's a day to remember, Rise Against, a lot of other bands that no one cares about.
Oh,
a lot of jumping and screaming.
I went and saw, like, the only, like, real, I mean, I've been to a couple concerts. I've been to, like, but the only, like, hardcore concert I went to was A Day to Remember.
Ooh.
It was Pierce the Veil.
They're there.
We Came as Romans.
They're cool. I like them.
And...
somebody less significant.
No.
Oh.
We Came as Romans.
Derek would literally be able to tell you right now.
Oh, this is gonna bother me again. What the fuck am I doing with my life?
I might not even know them.
Oh,
were they lower? Like, were they lower than We Came as Romans? Or
no.
They're a little higher.
I mean, probably higher. But here's the thing, actually. We Came as Romans, I am not a We Came as Romans fan. But I think their performance was better than anybody else.
Yeah.
I love A Day to Remember. A Day to Remember at the time was my favorite band ever. Like, I fucking love Day to Remember. Yeah. And We Came as Romans came on stage, and I was like, oh, fucking great. Like, I've listened to We Came as Romans and their shit. And then they perform so much better live than they do in their soundtrack or their recordings.
Well,
whatever.
That's most of the bands that I like to see, like this entire lineup. I like it because of when I've seen them live, but I don't really like it until I see them live. But once you do, like, that's what comes in your head when you start hearing it.
Right.
And it's all about the live performance with these kinds of bands.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucks. Like, Rise Against,
Okay.
They opened up for Foo Fighters, like, a long time ago, like maybe 2007 we saw them maybe. And I thought they were awful. Like, they did terrible. He didn't have the breath or the voice, and acoustics were off. That's not their fault, but, like, it was just an overall bad performance. Mm-hmm. And then they went to Rock on the Range, and they were one of the best performances of the entire weekend.
Really?
So they brought me back in, and...
You're like, all right, I'm a fan. All right.
Yeah. So, sometimes they have bad days. Like, A Day to Remember, I saw them for a short set at Rock on the Range.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I did.
I think it's just every once in a while people have a bad set or whatever.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is that concert I went to anyway? Nobody had a bad set. It was just that We Came as Romans just was exceptional.
Another level.
Just a whole nother level. It was dumb. Like I was like, it's fucking great.
Well, see, We Came as Romans is one of those weird bands that never really sells records,
right?
But they sell for shows like nobody else. They've been known as more of a live band than even that genre is known more for live than albums.
Okay, yeah.
And We Came as Romans is awesome. We saw them at Rock on the Range too, but they were on the tiny stage, and I mean I know they killed it, but it was like 11 a.m. So I was like,
11 a.m.
It was like 11 a.m. on Sunday, and we just gone crazy for 2 days. So we were like, all right, relax.
Yeah, you do a lot of that kind of stuff, like Rock on the Range and shit. Like, I've never done anything like that. Like, I wanted to go to like Faster Horses, which is the equivalent of like country music, right? It's like a 3-day weekend of just country music, drinking, and booze and bitches, right? That's all it is. I've never been to one of those.
Yeah, I've got to do that at some time. Because it's like, it's actually considered by the country community to be like, yeah, Rock on the Range, like that's one of the biggest ones. It's that and like open air in Chicago. It's like Faster Horses are that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but
like,
so much more partying.
It's so much more partying.
So I like some country stuff, but I want to go for the partying.
Right? No, I get that, but it seems like you go to those kind of events a lot. Like, how many times have you been to shit like that?
Too much.
Too much.
Or not enough to me, but yeah. I think live performances are probably my favorite thing. Concerts are my favorite.
I mean, I think I'd go to, like, I would love to go to something like that. But for me, it'd be more like, well, hey, it's a 3-day weekend of getting drunk, listening to music. Like, it wouldn't even be like, oh my god, I love this band, I have to see this band. It would be like, well, I could sit in a tent for 3 days and just get drunk. Like, all right, like, I'd go for the party, you know?
Yeah, you should go to Faster Horses and not Rock on the Range. There's no tents and sitting at Rock on the Range.
No?
Everybody's going crazy and jumping for 3 days.
See, you got a picture, though. Like, if you go to, like, Faster Horses or something like that, you got a bunch of hillbillies around fire drinking with...
Oh, yeah. Like,
country bitches. Like,
what
a party.
My favorite parties, and I've been to so many kinds of parties, and the best party ever was when we just went, and there was, like, 30 of us in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
Somewhere between Grand Rapids and Lansing. And, like, it was one of those places where the bonfire got started by 3 pallets and a couch.
That is so cool.
And it was, like, just 50 PBRs and a truck.
Oh, that's amazing.
A couple of trucks backed up to the bonfire with music playing.
That's amazing.
That was great. The only downside to it was I did my first dip. I did a dip. I did chewing tobacco.
Oh.
Yeah.
Grody.
Immediately, I understood why people do it. It gives you a very quick buzz.
Really?
Like, a cool buzz, too. It was probably the, like, 12 beers beforehand. But, like, the second I took it was, like, within 30 seconds, I was like, I understand why you do it, but I'm done.
But I'm done, yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, it really messed me up. For some reason, like, my brain was like, nah, we're only used to alcohol. And I did that one dip, and I was, like, staring at the fire. I had this one little blonde that was like, are you okay? And I was just like, I just need to look at something. And she, like, started kind of dancing with her butt in the fire.
Oh my god! What
And I was
a
like,
player!
Thank you.
What a player!
And she was so sweet. She was just talking to me, but like she was like talking over her shoulder to me, but also dancing in her little yoga pants. And I was like, "You're just the best. Thank you."
That is the coolest girl I've ever heard of. You're just
I
like
know, I'd have to
you
find
like
her again.
like you weren't even like trying to get anything out of it. You were just like, I just need like you were fucked up. You're like,
Yeah,
I
I
need to
wasn't even-
stare at somebody and stare at something, and she's like, what about my butt? Like, how about I just shake my ass in your face and you can stare at this? Like,
I know. How sweet is
like
that?
how cool?
Because I didn't even say words. I was just staring at the fire and like clearly not feeling well. But I was like,
Right.
I was just trying to be like, all right, I don't want to like make anybody.
Right.
I don't want to make a scene. I'm just gonna stare at the fire and kind of rock back and forth. And she was like, here's my butt and let's talk. How you doing? How you feeling? What's your favorite band? I was like, you're just the greatest. And then there was a point where
Great.
she was like, I'm done dancing. And I was like, thank you so much. Everybody here is great. I'll be back in a couple minutes. And I went behind like in a cornfield and like had to throw up because
Oh, I thought you were about. I swear to God, I thought you were gonna say. And then right after she was done, I went into a cornfield and jerked off. I was gonna be like, "Are you fucking like?" That's where I fully expected that story to go. I was like, "Oh my God,
you're the best. I'll be right back. I have to finish."
right?"
And I was like, I'll be in the cornfield. If it takes too long for me to come back, I threw up too much. Come find me. God, she was a sweetheart.
Sounds like it. Like, what a cool chick.
But yeah, before that, oh yeah, the trucks blaring music. It's middle of nowhere. No one cares.
See, here's the thing: is like you gotta catch me in the right mood, but like. I don't like party a whole lot, but when I do, like, it's fucking fun.
Yeah.
And it's weird because, like, there's, like, the first year, too, like, somebody asked me, like, hey, what are you doing for Halloween? Are you going to any Halloween parties? And I was like, I've never been to one.
Crushing.
Well, because, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, like, you know, like, I mean, not to say that I was a loser, but I was a little bit of a loser. But it was like, hey, do you want to go, like, I don't know. I'm kind of a party guy. I totally would party.
Yeah.
But they're like, hey, dude, you going to any sick Halloween parties? I was like, probably not. But I actually had that talk with a buddy of ours, Nico, he was saying October is his favorite month, and he loves Halloween parties. And I was like, yeah. I don't know. Like, I assume it's awesome. Like, a bunch of women in scantily clad outfits looking like hotness. And Halloween's like the one day of the year that women can dress like whores and get away with it. So they love it, and we love it. Like,
So everybody's happy.
like, everybody's happy.
Yeah, like I was never at anything good until I went to the college for Halloween. That was good.
Yeah, no, I've
So how'd
never
this
done
go?
that.
Did you do that party or no? Or was this recently, like, coming up?
No,
You're thinking
we
about
just had this conversation a couple days ago. No, I've never
it?
been
Go to a Halloween party?
I've
coming up?
never been. I've never
Should,
been, man.
Me and Ben Moffitt, we went to Grand Valley as Dick in a Box.
Oh,
We
yeah.
figured out how to like put the holes through the like gift box, and through you just put your belt through so that present stays there. We wrapped up little bows, and you know the skit from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
So we were
Yeah, the
that.
Dick in the Box
We got like
skit,
the suits and the shades and everything. It's a dick in a box.
That's my dick in a bag. That was like a
Then-
Justin Timberlake skit or
It was
something, wasn't it?
Justin Timberlake and
Okay.
Andy Samberg. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we were like, it's Halloween though. We gotta somehow make it a Halloween twist. So our boxes were cut in such a way they were shoe boxes, so they looked completely wrapped, but they were like finely cut so that we could open them, and there was candy. There was Halloween
Oh,
candy.
that is so cool.
So we were like, it's my dick in a box. You want some candy?
You want some candy?
It was a
Hey.
huge hit.
Hey, girl, you want to look into my box, see what I got for you?
You know what happened was I had like the greatest idea.
You were offering candy to kids. Hey, kid, you want some candy? Check out my box.
Good
Go
point.
ahead.
I probably should have jumped at that point.
Go ahead.
But I came with a great idea.
Came up with a great up idea.
Came up with a great idea too. Once the parties were going, everybody's pretty gone. I said, like, we were just giving them out to any girl, guy, whatever. And then I was like, if they came back for like a third piece of candy, I was like, no hands.
Oh,
And it was great.
you got so
5
many
minutes.
bro jobs. So many guys blew you that night.
No, it was really good. There was two, like, first it was a really sexy, like, redhead nurse.
Oh.
And then it was like a naughty devil.
Oh, I have a thing for redheads. Go ahead.
Right?
Go ahead.
But then it was a black guy. Like, it was great. Like, she, like, the nurse, the redhead nurse, she was, like, doing, like, looking up at me and taking her time, grabbing that Skittles with her face. And I was like, this is fantastic. And within 2 minutes, this black guy sitting next to me was like, okay. And he just put his head in my lap. And I was like, I'm done with thinking about it.
Nope, I'm done. Screw this
I
costume.
quit. Forfeit.
Oh, that's atrocious.
So you like redheads?
You know what? I do.
Yeah.
I do. Like, I don't know what it is. Redheads, like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's fair.
I'm.
Yeah. No, like Scarlett Johansson, I think she looks best in red.
See, but here's the thing, right? So, like, I don't like. I mean, nobody likes gingers, but I don't like ginger, right? But like
It's
I said, who does?
Well, like, you want the red hair without the freckles.
Yeah, right. Like,
It's the nicest way to put it.
like if you dye your hair fire engine red or some shit like that. Oh man, you got me drooling.
You're like Emma Stone, maybe? You gotta like Emma Stone.
I like Emma Stone.
Like, with the red hair.
Yeah. She was.
So who's like your ideal redhead? The Wendy's girl? Like, honestly, that's the right color red, but...
Yeah, no, that's the right color red. I don't necessarily have an ideal.
There's not many of them.
No.
Ideal redheads.
No, but nevertheless, redheads are ideal. Like, I mean, I like blonde. Let's face it, like, women are fucking awesome.
They're the best.
They're the best, right?
They're
They got
amazing.
boobs and stuff, and it's so good. And, like,
Everything's awesome.
everything's awesome.
Except their attitudes.
Oh God, don't get me started.
But it's worth all the... Yeah.
But let's not talk about the real shit. Let's pretend
about
like
the
that
good
doesn't
stuff.
exist for
Just
a
the
little
happy
bit.
unicorn stuff.
Just happy unicorn stuff. Like, if I could just do a redheaded woman with nice boobs that was a mute and just...
Whoa.
Well, you don't have to deal with her attitude if she can't talk, but she's still hot.
Yeah,
right?
she's signing away, though.
Oh my...
This has been fantastic, but I've got to cut it, man.
You've got to cut it.
We've hit our limit.
I
Trevor
could do
Hurley.
this all day, I
Trevor
swear
Hurley,
to Christ.
this was fantastic.
This
Thank you
was
so much.
fantastic. Like I said, I could do this all day.
Was this your first podcast of any kind?
This is my first podcast of any kind.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah, I've never done anything
You know what's
like
really
this.
weird? When you go back and listen to it and hear yourself have a conversation. It's a weird moment, but it's good.
I'm not going to listen to this. Don't take that personally. I don't want to hear myself. I don't.
That's fair. I'll let you know how bad you are.
Oh, I hope so.
No, this was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to... this is me formally inviting myself back on your show later on.
Oh, yeah, you'll be in. I'll start doing, like, we bring a couple people on and...
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like people, but I can live
Oh, I
with
don't
that.
either. That's why I'm doing this solo. I'm doing one-on-ones,
Right.
but eventually, all these one-on-ones, I'll find two people that are like, all right, I'll bring one other person.
I'll bring one other person. Well, thank you, Ponke, for having me on your show, and
Sure.
hopefully I can do it again soon. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, this
I
was very
enjoyed
fun.
this.
We'll keep the party going, but I got a shout out to Zach Lucassian, who needs to pick a production name. He's my producer, and he's making movies out in Hollywood.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's a good guy. So, Zach Lucassian, figure out your name. He wants like a LLC name. I've spitballed some ideas at him. It's not going.
Okay.
But thanks, Zach. Hopefully you put this up by tomorrow.
Well, by tomorrow.
Yeah, he's quick, man.
Okay, well, all right. Well, I will see all you bitches tomorrow. Thanks for listening.
Hey, bye, guys. And subscribe, please.
Please plug in
Plug it on the button.
on the button on iTunes.
See you guys.
Have a great day, everybody.